Light raindrops fell gently onto the muddy courtyard, filling the air with the soothing scent of wet earth. It was a small house where a family of 4 lived: Salim, his wife Zainab, their son Ahmed, and their little daughter Mariam. They were not wealthy, but their home was filled with love. Salim worked at a small shop. He left early every morning and returned home late at night. At the end of each month, his salary was carefully divided, first for groceries, then the children's school fees, then electricity and gas bills. If anything remained, Zainab would silently thank God. One day, Ahmed came home from school and said, "Mum, our annual school function is next week. All my classmates have new clothes. I want a new outfit too." Zainab smiled gently and replied, "Insha'Allah, my son. We'll see." But inside her heart was heavy. There wasn't enough money to buy new clothes. That evening, when Salim returned home, Zainab quietly told him about Ahmed's wish. Salim took a few crumpled notes out of his pocket, counted them, and then silently put them back. "Zainab, this month we'll barely be able to afford groceries." Both of them fell silent. It was the kind of silence that only people struggling with poverty truly understand. The next morning, Zainab opened her cupboard. Inside lay an old but beautiful shawl. It was the last memory of her late mother. On the day of her wedding, her mother had wrapped the shawl around her shoulders and said, "My daughter, whenever you miss me, wrap yourself in this shawl." Every Eid, Zainab would take it out, kiss it lovingly, and place it back. Today, she held it in her hands for a long time. Tears filled her eyes as she walked to the market. She sold the shawl and used the money to buy new clothes for Ahmed. When Ahmed saw them, he jumped with joy. "Mom, they're so beautiful." Zainab smiled, but it felt as though a part of her heart had been left behind forever. A few days later, Ahmed noticed his mother searching through the cupboard. Curiously, he asked, "Mum, where is your white shawl?" Zainab lowered her eyes. "My son, it had become too old." Ahmed stayed quiet, but he wasn't convinced. A few days later, his aunt told him the truth. That night, Ahmed couldn't sleep. For the first time, he realized that his new clothes hadn't been bought with money alone. They had cost his mother the most precious memory of her own mother. He quietly walked over to her. "Mum." "Yes, my son." "Please forgive me." Zainab looked at him in surprise. "For what?" Tears rolled down Ahmed's cheeks. "I insisted on getting new clothes, and because of me, you had to sell Grandma's last gift." Without saying a word, Zainab embraced him tightly. "My dear son, nothing is more precious to a mother than her children's happiness." Those words stayed with Ahmed forever. From that day on, he made a promise to himself. He studied hard every day after school and, in the evenings, started tutoring neighborhood children to help support his family. At first, people laughed at him. "He's too young to work." But Ahmed simply smiled and continued. Time passed. He secured first position in his district in his secondary school exams and earned a scholarship. He worked hard through college and university, proving himself at every step. Years later, Ahmed became a successful engineer. The day he received his first salary, he went straight to the market. He bought a beautiful shawl, almost identical to the one his mother had once owned. When he reached home, he quietly placed it in Zainab's hands. She looked at him in surprise. "What is this?" His voice trembled. "Mum, I know I can never bring back Grandma's shawl, but today I wanted to give you this gift." Tears streamed down Zainab's face. Instead of holding the shawl, she hugged her son tightly. "My son, today I feel that my sacrifice was never in vain." Just then, Salim walked into the room. He placed his hand on Ahmed's shoulder and said, "My son, true wealth isn't what's kept in a bank. Real wealth is children who understand their parents' sacrifices." The house filled with smiles and tears of happiness. That very day, Ahmed made another decision. He built a small library in his village where underprivileged children could study and borrow books free of charge. At the opening ceremony, he said, "Poverty can never stop a determined person. I came from a poor family too, but my mother's sacrifice taught me how to dream and work hard. If your parents sacrifice for you, never let their efforts go to waste." Hope shone in the eyes of many children listening to him. Before ending his speech, Ahmed said one final sentence. "If your parents are sacrificing their happiness for your future today, then your success tomorrow will be the greatest gift you can ever give them." People say that time changes everything, but some sacrifices never grow old. His mother's old shawl could never be bluer.